Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Katie, and in today's video I'm going to be preparing a lot of food. I have to feed my family that has 7 people in it, and this week Aaron is headed out of town, so I'm going to do some meal prep to set myself up for success while he's gone, so I can feed all these kids and homeschool them and do all the things while he's out of town. So we're going to be making lots of enchiladas. We're going to make chicken and beef. We're also going to be freeze drying a bunch of food because I fell into some produce and I need to preserve it for the winter because we've got more than enough right now. So we want to take care of all the extra and make it shelf stable. So we're going to be doing some of that. I'm also making my family's #1 favorite soup in fall, butternut squash soup. So stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for joining me today. Let's get into this video. These are the eggs that I freeze dried, and now I'm just going to dump them into this big bowl and get them into jars for the lady that gives us or sells us eggs. All right, I just go through and break it up, try to chop it up some in here before I put it into the jars. And by my calculations, there's about 16 eggs-ish per jar because I got 4 jars full. And then, and then I have this little half or a quarter of a jar full once that all powders down. So I just kind of left it chunky, but that's okay. Today we're making a sheet pancake, and I blended in some amaranth with my soft white wheat flour that I just ground up, and it's a beautiful texture. I've never done this before. I'm not even sure if you've ever used amaranth. What do you use it for? I've cooked it before and added it to some different things, but I'm gonna attempt it in this sheet pancake. I did about a third of amaranth to wheat berries, so we're going to try it out and see if this cooks up as beautiful as it always does. And that's another way that I'm just trying to incorporate some different grains, some different things into my kids' diets and get them some variety instead of the same grain that you buy at the grocery store and all of your bread. We're trying to add variety here at home with our own fresh milled grains. And right now you can get a grain mill from Nutri-Mill. This is a different brand, but you can get a grain mill from Nutri-Mill. Stop flipping pancakes. That's right, you can make sheet pancakes and save yourself a world of time in the kitchen. So what I like to do is get these all mixed up. My oven is preheated at 350 degrees, and we're gonna mix up this batter, get all of the ingredients incorporated, and then we're going to pour it into a parchment paper lined baking sheet for easy cleanup. While this bakes, I can spend time with my family or I can catch up on chores. It is a wonderful way to bulk batch breakfast for a few days during the week. So you can double batch, triple batch this and freeze some for later, or just pop it in a Ziploc bag or storage container and stick it in your fridge. To reheat, all you have to do is pop the sheet pancakes into your toaster or toaster oven, and they reheat in just a few minutes. We like to top these with our plum sauce or our plum jam. We have lots of that from this summer. We found a few wild plum trees on our adventures, so that has been our preferred topping for our sheet pancakes. This is a quick bake. It only needs about 20 to 25 minutes in a oven based on the thickness of your sheet pancake. And imagine that, I forgot to add olive oil. I'm always forgetting some ingredient. A lot of times I just make things out of my head, so I'm not following an exact recipe. I'm just going off my memory. And since I'm not checking a list off as I'm making my recipe, I sometimes forget either salt or fat in almost every single recipe. So I need a large sign right in front of my face, right there in my kitchen, in my prep area, that says, don't forget the salt and fat. Check out the full recipe and the finished product linked down below in this video's description. Next up, I just had a fun treat idea. This is the day of the solar eclipse. We live in the area where it was the best place to view the Ring of Fire here in Southern Oregon. So on this day, I decided to make the kids some treats. So we're just taking some pretzel sticks, stabbing some marshmallows and dipping them in chocolate. And they are like little marshmallow lollipops. They are so yummy. I mean, I don't know because I didn't eat them, but the kids were telling me that it has a hard chocolate candy shell with a squishy inside and the crunchy salty stick. I can only imagine how delicious that was. They really enjoyed these. We're just putting some sprinkles on them and just a nice easy treat for the kids. All right, we've got all of our mise en place. That means that we've got all of our ingredients, all of our food out here. We've got this pork right here. It's got a bone in it. I feel like I'm not going to get as much meat as I want to out of it for the price that I spent on it, but it's all grass-fed, pasture-raised, all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to do our best to turn this hunk of meat into something delicious, and my favorite way to cook pork butt or pork anything is to make carnitas, because carnitas are the bomb. We are just going to season up this pork butt, do some salt, some pepper. This is a rub. You could rub it on there, or you could just do what I'm doing and just dump it all on there. Some ground cumin. And it says Italian seasoning or oregano, but I don't have oregano, so I'm just going to use some Italian seasoning on there, just a little bit. And then we'll flip it over and do the same thing. We're going to throw this meat in here, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Now I have the whole pork carnitas recipe on my channel, so I'm going to link it down below, but I'm just showing you guys what I'm making for dinner tonight. We're going to have some pork carnita tacos, but on my channel is the full recipe, and I actually make that recipe better than what I'm doing right here. I just don't happen to have all of the ingredients on hand. I failed to prepare. So I'm gonna send you over to that link to get the best, absolute best carnita recipe on the planet. And you will be happy that you tried it. I don't have the correct peppers, chilies that I usually use, but that's okay. This is still gonna be delicious, but I would encourage you to follow the recipe linked down below in this video's description to make the best pork carnitas. There we go. We're just gonna let that slow cook all day. Aaron's going out of town, so before he goes out of town, I'm just cooking up all of my protein. So we're getting the carnitas. I cooked a chicken yesterday and this meat, and I'm gonna just portion it all out so that we can have food for the next couple days. This is going to be for a chicken enchilada casserole. And we're also going to do a beef enchilada casserole. So we're going to be using the green chili sauce for the chicken and the red chili sauce for the beef. And then the carnitas are cooking back there in the slow cooker. So we're going to go ahead and meal prep up 2 pans of enchiladas. And then these are going to be what we eat on for the next couple of days. Normally I would add a small can of crushed pineapple. That adds a lot of flavor and gives it a little bit more moisture in the mixture, but I don't have a small can of crushed pineapple, so we're not gonna do that today. I am going to chop up a can of mushrooms. This is like a simple pantry meal if you have all these canned ingredients on hand. I bought some things last year, and I'm trying to cycle through some of the pantry items that I purchased and placed on my shelves for long-term storage, but some things need to be cycled through periodically. And these little boxes of enchilada sauce that I got from Azure Standard do need to be used up. I purchased them on sale and their expiration date is coming up. I got 3 of each of these little boxes, so I need to start using them now. I ended up using 2 boxes on the chicken enchiladas. This isn't exactly a recipe. This is just how I wing it and make delicious food for my family. So I don't have any sour cream or anything else like that. So we're gonna be using some plain yogurt in this mixture. Like I said, this chicken in general is a very lean meat, so there's not a lot of moisture in the meat. It is a bit dry. I mean, I don't want to say that because then that makes it sound like I overcooked the chicken. I didn't, but it's a bit dry. So I'm just adding in some stuff to kind of give it some moisture, give the mixture some consistency inside of the layers of tortillas that I'm going to be putting down in these pans to layer the chicken into. So chicken's going in one, beef is going in the other, but we definitely need to have some kind of moisture and consistency inside the mixture. So for that, we've done cheese, the mushrooms, the chilies, and the sour cream, or you can use some yogurt. After these casseroles are all layered, we are going to wrap them in foil and bake them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes. You can remove the foil and let the cheese on top get nicely browned, if that's what you like. So I'm going to start these beef ones, and I added a can of Rotel to these, as well as some more plain yogurt, some cheddar cheese that's shredded up, and we're going to get this all mixed up. I'm going to go look and see if I can find any more yogurt, and I found a little bit of sour cream, so I'm going to add what's left of the sour cream to this mixture, and we are going to mix all of this up and do the same layering that we did with the chicken. Sometimes when I cook, I need to improvise, so I'm actually going to run out of tortillas for these beef enchiladas or this beef casserole. So what I'm going to do is crumble up some tortilla chips on top of this and then cover it with cheese. And that is going to make a lovely topping. It's not going to really be a crunchy topping because the tortilla chips will become cooked, and with the moisture of the casserole, they do become soft. So they become just like a tortilla, like a corn tortilla basically on top. Adapt and overcome. That's what we do in this kitchen. All right, I just got this package from Lazy Days Ahead with Jessie and Lisa. I just did the September collaboration with 30 other channels in September, and through that, I won a contest, and I got this gigantic bottle. So I got a bottle of pure vanilla. They put a nice card in here. The card has a bunch of stickers. Congratulations on winning Leanne's September giveaway. We know you will love it as much as everyone else does. Thank you for all your support of ours and Leanne's channel. We truly appreciate you. Hope you have an awesome, blessed week. Much love, Lisa and Jessie and Leanne. So we got some stickers. I've had Miss Lisa's jam and Lazy Days Ahead magnet, which actually suits our family perfect because Aaron is retiring, although we're not going to have any Lazy Days Ahead. We also got a few other little things in here. Let's see what they are. I've had Miss Lisa's jam, don't be jelly, so it's a little jam spoon. And, I think they sent us some jam. Now I can officially say that I've had Lisa's jam. This is peanut guava habanero jam. Thank you so much for all this cool stuff. We've got some peach jelly. That's going to be really good. So thank you so much, Lisa and Jessie. We be jamming.
But it's jam good. I think that's too much to...
Oh no. Worth it to try.
It's really good.
Here, I'll use this spoon. Is it spicy?
No.
That's really good.
It's very good.
It's very good.
Jam good.
Jam good. The pina guava habanero jam was delicious. I need to get that recipe from Lisa. She probably has it over on her channel, so go check it out, linked below in this video's description. These enchiladas were tasty. Got a little bit sidetracked and started doing this pork up. I'm just taking it out of the crock pot and shredding it up in here. You can do this with like a food mixer, the egg beater paddle things on it, you know, and that will shred your food up. Or you can do it with forks, whatever you want to do. I just happen to not want to get anything else dirty, so this is what I am doing it with. and it's working just fine. And then we're gonna pour all the drippings on top of this. So I ended up adding a little bit of pineapple juice because it called for orange juice. I did not have any orange juice, so we used pineapple juice, and I think it turned out just as good. Aaron is headed out of town, so I've been working hard today to make sure that I have healthy food ready-made for my family so that mealtime is seamless while he's away. It just makes it a lot easier so I can homeschool the kids and make them meals. We've got some pork carnita meat here ready to go in the oven to be broiled. We've got some enchiladas here. We've got some pretzel stick snacks that I made here, as well as a huge thing of broth ready to make rice and all sorts of other yummy meals. We've got these powdered eggs over here. So I'm just adding a cup of water to them. This is 1 cup of eggs and 1 cup of water. Might need to add, we'll see once they kind of absorb all this water here. Right after about 5 minutes, this is all incorporated and we can throw them into our frying pan.
With Big Jake. It's amazing.
This is my newly stripped and seasoned cast iron skillet. Look at how non-stick it is with my fresh breakfast powdered eggs. Beautiful. We just re-seasoned these. You can check it out on my channel, Cast Iron Restoration, and see how to remove all the carbon buildup from your pans. I haven't shared with you guys much about freeze drying lately, but this is what I have going in here today. I've been freeze drying a lot. I just got done with a big batch of elderberries. We're gonna do this shredded up zucchini that I like to freeze dry, and then I can use it in all of my cake recipes, my muffin recipes, all that good stuff. On this tray I have a variety of things. We've got some squash from the neighbor's garden. We've got some turmeric on the left, some ginger on the right, and then back there we've got 1 whole onion. So that's why my fingers are stained yellow right now, as you can see. Yellow from turmeric and ginger and squash. This, we have a whole tray of peppers, green peppers that I got on sale at the grocery store in the discount vegetable section. And a whole tray of chopped up zucchini, and that's for soups and things like that. And so is the squash. That's going to be for soups. I can add this to a bunch of chicken broth and add some seasonings to it and blend it and make a delicious squash soup. So that's what we have going in here today. So I'm just going to get this freeze dryer going. Right now I have it on freezing. And I gotta shut all the valves and let it work. Good morning, good morning. This morning I'm making the lentil oatmeal porridge, and then we're gonna head out into the garage and deal with some freeze-dried food, and then we're gonna come back in here and I'm gonna share with you my family's favorite soup recipe in fall. It's the one that my kids just gobble up. It's really nutritious, it's very nourishing. So back here I've just pre-cooked, par-cooked the lentils about halfway, a little bit more. They're almost completely done. These I'm gonna add to my soup. I'm gonna blend them up with an immersion blender and add them into the soup just to give it extra protein. And then over here, I added the par-cooked lentils to some boiling water, and then I've added my oats. And then what we really love to add to our oatmeal is coconut. We have some raisins I need to restock, but we're running low on those. We're out of the cranberries. I like to work through everything. So I'm also gonna probably chop up some dates and add some dates. You can add whatever you want to. We're gonna season it with some good cinnamon. I'm gonna go grab some more raisins. That's not quite enough for my kiddos. Kids need lots of healthy, good fats, so I always add in some coconut oil to the oatmeal, and then a lot of times when the oatmeal is finished cooking, we will top it with some butter. And today we're gonna top it with some butter and plum sauce, just to give the kids as much goodness in one bowl that we can. And at the end, it looks like this. So it's got the lentils, lots of coconut, oatmeal, raisins, cinnamon, coconut oil, you can put sugar, maple syrup, honey, whatever you want to sweeten it. We did a bit of honey in here today. And then we're gonna do plum sauce on top. And this is how we are serving up their delicious oatmeal porridge with this plum sauce that we made. the butter, the raisins, all the good stuff, warming their bellies. Hagen's mouth hurts. She has braces and she had some new appliances added to her mouth. She's very tender and sore, so this is a perfect meal for her. All right, this is my wonderful Stay Fresh freeze dryer. I have a link down below in this video's description for you to check them out. They're amazing. I'm really excited that I've had this for as long as I've had it, for about a year. I'm able to preserve all sorts of food, especially produce that I find on sale at the grocery store and my neighbor's excess produce that they have in their garden, since I didn't have a garden this year. But next year we're on to bigger, better things. We're gonna have a garden next year. So right now what I'm gonna do is release the pressure in here. And open it. Right now the trays are warming up, so the trays warm so that you can remove them and they don't get condensation on them, because the last thing you want is your food to get moisture on them. But right now I'm just checking that they are completely dry, no moisture in there. Come on. And they are, on this tray I have the onions, turmeric, ginger, and squash. And then on this one I have the shredded up zucchini that we like to add to all of our baked goods. So just to get that extra nutrition in there. Up here we have just some chopped zucchini. This is for soups and things like that. And then of course the green peppers that we have to add into soups and chilies and all of that good stuff. So these trays are gonna sit here and warm for about the next 10-15 minutes. And then I am going to take them inside and put them away. One thing that I am trying to do on my journey to better health is make my own spices, my own seasonings. One of you lovely subscribers is a chef, and you pointed out to me that using the powdered onion and powdered garlic and spices from the store, they have anti-caking agents on them, so that makes them not the most healthy, and some of those anti-caking agents can cause inflammation and things of that nature. So if you are trying to have a whole foods, plant-based or whole foods diet and you don't want additives in your food, consider maybe dehydrating your own vegetables like onions or your own roots like turmeric and ginger and things like that to make your own herbs and spices, your own blends at home. So that's something that I am venturing into now that I'm in a season of life, to expand my kitchen stuff. So I've started buying turmeric from the store, and then I bought a knob of ginger, but I wish that I would have bought more because I could have filled up a whole tray and then ground my own powder. So I was just experimenting this far with this process. So that's what today is, and we're going to put everything in jars, and then I can add it to soups, add it to my teas, that sort of thing as I like. And I know that it is organic ginger or organic turmeric, and the turmeric's gonna help with my inflammation. The ginger is gonna help with some of my digestive issues. I'm glad that I have this freeze dryer behind me so that I can make my own things here at home, and I know exactly what's in them. My shelf says 73 degrees. Yeah, those feel nice and room temperature. So once they start to feel like they're not ice cold trays, you can transport them out. This one still feels pretty cool in a couple spots, especially at the end. Once all of my freeze-dried veggies are completely dry, we are going to immediately transfer them to dry, clean jars. And you can either put oxygen absorbers into your jars and seal them with your lids and rims. You can use a vacuum sealer like I'm doing here to suck out all the air in the jars and vacuum seal them shut to preserve them. Or you can do the preferred overkill method and use an oxygen absorber and vacuum seal your jars. Make sure to put the rim around your lid so that if the seal breaks, the oxygen absorber will help preserve the food inside. So you make sure that you label and date your jars, put the year on there so that you know what the contents are. Do this with anything that you can store and put away. So this is going to be the base for our favorite soup of the season. This is our butternut squash soup recipe, and you can add any vegetables. Go to your fridge, look around, look for any complementary root vegetables that you may have. Butternut squash. Onions are a really good addition to this. They get kind of caramelized in the oven and they turn out delicious. So we're gonna just bake all of this up. If I find anything else to add to it, I will show you. And once my kids are having fun, once it's all done, we are gonna put it in a pot and add some chicken broth, heat it up, and use an immersion blender to blend it all together. You can use vegetable broth or whatever you want to. And then we'll add some seasonings to it, and I'll share that with you once we get to that point. And as always, we're gonna be using this Redmond's Real Salt, and I have the best deal on the internet linked down below in my video's description. And I buy the 25-pound bags of salt, and that usually lasts me over a year feeding my family of 7. We use real salt for everything, and when you cook from scratch and you make your own bread and you make your own soup and you make your own everything, you use salt in everything because you're not buying store-bought already processed foods. So you need lots of salt to cook your yummy meals. So always flip your butternut squash over after you add some seasoning. Put those carrots there so those onions can cook, and then this is going in the oven like this. All right, so these roasted in the oven for about 400 degrees for 45 minutes or so, and until everything's soft. And now it's been sitting here for a while cooling off, so now I can scrape everything out, add it all to my soup pot, and do the immersion blender. I've got this chicken broth that I made earlier this week. I cooked a chicken, and I know I haven't been vlogging a lot lately. This, it's been a little hectic and crazy, but I do make chicken broth almost every week or every other week, and this week it is fall enough, y'all, to use it in this delicious butternut squash soup recipe. So the seasoning for this is pretty simple. It's like a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, just a dash or two of sage in here. Sage and nutmeg. I don't know why that sounds good to me, but tonight it does. And of course, we've got our Redmond's Real Salt. There we go. Now we're gonna blend it up. Forgot to show you guys what it looks like now. So it's just a beautiful orange soup, and we use the nourishing chicken broth. Oh shoot, you can also add lentils. We've been gone all day while the vegetables cooled on the stovetop, and we got home really hungry and I forgot to make the lentils, but you can definitely cook your red lentils and blend those up too to add extra protein. I can't believe I forgot to do that, but the kids really like it. It's very tasty. It's a real simple soup and it's really tasty. Right here we've got some deer sausage from Aaron's Deer, and he and I just eat it like this, just plain or with eggs. He's having it with some chicharrones. And then back here we've got the leftover butternut squash soup. I added some pureed lentils to it, and I might freeze dry some of it. Depends on how much the family eats today. Okay, I did end up freeze drying the butternut squash soup, and this is what it looks like. Butternut squash soup. We've got that. And we ended up doing a whole bunch of stuff. This is pho broth, elk pho broth. We've got the green peppers. We've got some celery. I've just been freeze drying like crazy. Onions, a bunch of stuff. Chilies, squash, you name it. We've got lots of veggies for soup in here. We've got lots of freeze dried eggs. We've got lots more freeze dried vegetables on here, more eggs, and lots more here. In my next video, I'm going to be sharing with you sourdough everything, because I started making sourdough again for my family. So stay tuned for that. Click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.